Well, good afternoon. I'm so grateful to be kicking off yet another year of our Food in Transit program. Food in Transit is a way to provide fresh, affordable, locally grown produce to Indianapolis residents who may not otherwise have ready access to that food. A recent study conducted by the Indy Hunger Network showed that 25% of Indianapolis residents are food insecure, meaning that 1 out of every 4 residents of our city lack reliable access to affordable, healthy food. Access to healthy food cannot be a luxury in the city of Indianapolis. That was the motivation behind each of our city's efforts to broaden food access, especially the creation of the first ever Division of Community Nutrition and Food Policy, which focuses on city resources, and the focus is on problems around food insecurity. And this issue is, of course, what brings us together on this beautiful day. Every Wednesday this summer, for the 4th year running, Food in Transit will set up right here at the Julia M. Carson Transit Center to sell locally grown fruits and vegetables. By doing so, they transform this transit facility, which, by the way, welcomes thousands of visitors every day from all over the city, transforms it into a local produce stand. Food in Transit will accept cash, card, EBT, and SNAP. And anyone, whether they're using the bus or not, is welcome. This program is only possible through federal community development block grant funding accessed by our city's Department of Metropolitan Development. And of course, we wouldn't be here without IndyGo or Growing Places Indy. So my thanks to all the partners who are allowing this valuable resource for healthy food to return for a 4th year. Now it's my pleasure.
Wi-Fi is available to IndyGo customers. Thank you for riding IndyGo. Wi-Fi público gratuito disponible para usuarios de IndyGo. Gracias por utilizar IndyGo.
There we go. Now it's my pleasure to turn things over. I didn't want to interrupt. Don't interrupt the president. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the president of the Indianapolis-Marion County City County Council, Vop Osili. Vop.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. Much appreciated. It's an amazing day to kick off Food in Transit in 2021. And I do want to thank Mayor Hogsett for the invitation to be here today, and our partners at DMD, Growing Places Indy, and IndyGo for making this innovative program a reality again this year. Days like today and programs like this one are truly cause for celebration because they illustrate the power of collaboration and of imagination to meet the needs of our community, and to do so in a way that aligns with our collective commitment to make Indianapolis an equitable city. Because access to food and access to transportation are issues of equity. It has been well documented by researchers on IUPUI's SAVVY program and by the USDA, among others, that Black and brown residents in Indianapolis too often live in low-income neighborhoods with low access to healthy food. And that lack of access is not just about hunger. As became painfully clear last year, it puts those who live in food deserts at higher risk for food-related health issues like obesity, like hypertension, and diabetes. 3 conditions that the CDC linked to increased risk of hospitalization and death from COVID-19. So when we talk about creating access to healthy, affordable foods, we're literally talking about life and death. We know, too, from IndyGo's own ridership data and additional research from Savvy, that Black and brown residents in Indianapolis are more likely to rely on public transportation to access just not food, but jobs and education and healthcare and even the polls. Just as with any major American city, almost everything associated with economic opportunity in Indy relies on our ability to get around. That's why Ms. Evans, CEO Evans, and her team in IndyGo have been working so passionately to update and upgrade their existing bus stops and routes and build out the blue and the purple bus rapid transit lines. Because they understand the fundamental truth that in our culture, upward mobility requires actual mobility. It's also, I believe, why IndyGo has been so willing to embrace this partnership with Growing Places Indy. Food in transit makes the Julia M. Carson Transit Center much more than the intersection of bus routes. It is the intersection of the roads that lead to health, wellness, and economic opportunity, and our efforts to build an Indianapolis where all roads, at last, lead to equity. And if I may, it is my honor, I would like to introduce Victoria Beaty. Ms. Beaty.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. This is a full circle moment for me. 4 years ago, I was a volunteer actually selling this produce. So now as I stand here as the Executive Director of Growing Places Indy, this is extremely special. So thanks for the introduction, and thanks to Mayor Hogsett for bringing us together today to put a spotlight on food access within our community. So on behalf of Growing Places Indy, we are honored to partner with the City of Indianapolis and IndyGo to bring back food in transit again for its 4th year. And this is personal for me as someone who grew up in a neighborhood that did not have access to a grocery store or access to fresh foods, and I relied solely on public transportation. So I was on IndyGo a lot. And I know firsthand the importance of having access to affordable fresh foods. We often don't talk about the importance of access, but we often talk about the importance of healthy eating. And we know there's many studies that have proven that far too many people, especially those in low-income communities and communities of color, don't have access to affordable, healthy options. And so for our residents in low-income communities, they often have to travel significant distances to pay overpriced for vegetables and overripe fruit. With this burden, it's no surprise that our communities are faced with challenges of obesity, diabetes, and preventable food-related challenges. For the past 12 years at Growing Places Indy, we've worked to ensure that everyone has access to locally grown fresh foods because, simply put, it's a human right. So in partnership with the City of Indianapolis and IndyGo, we've been able to bring our goal to life with the Food in Transit program. And by working together, forming partnerships like these, we have the power to make a real difference and impact our community. So I look forward to our continued partnership in supporting the city's health and well-being. And now I would like to introduce Inez Evans, IndyGo's President and CEO.
Hello, and thank you for having me. Again, Inez Evans, the President and CEO here at IndyGo. You know, a lot has changed in our 4 years since Food in Transit launched. I'm here for one. So we have a new rapid transit line. In case you didn't know, it's called the Red Line, that captured or catapulted our service into the next level as we have worked towards fulfilling the Marion County Transit Plan. And then what happened next? A global pandemic hit. So we have all had to make adjustments and created a new normal. But a few things remain apparent during the pandemic. Transit is essential, especially to essential workers, and access to food is a barrier we can all continue to prioritize. Last year, we were able to continue with the Food in Transit program, and we are proud to say that it is returned for its 5th year, and it can keep on going as far as I'm concerned. Often, transit gets minimized to people on buses, but we are so much more. Food in transit proves that not only can IndyGo provide transportation and mobility options to our community, but we can also be a hub of economic opportunities that can enhance lives in numerous ways. As part of this partnership, employees and the riders at IndyGo have access to fresh food, fresh produce that they can pick up during their travels as an IndyGo employee here at work. We value being able to have these partnerships that we can share with both our riders and our employees. So IndyGo is happy to be a partner in such a critical program with the city. We know partnerships like these will continue to grow as we expand our services for the Purple Line and the Blue Line. We are so thankful to Mayor Hogsett, to Council President Vop Osili, and to that too, and to the Growing Places Executive Director, Victoria Beaty, for their hard work and support with this initiative. Thank you all for coming today, and make sure you buy some food. Thank you. That concludes.